How you doing, everyone? This is Chris Profi. I'm back with another review. Today I have something a little different. Um, Garth Brooks box set, and this happens to be the limited series. It's got all of his albums up until Fresh Horses, and I'm just looking at the date of this. This came out in 1998, I believe. So it's been out for a while. And what's funny here, I just noticed, I have the wall sticker. And if you don't know anything about the wall, it used to be a CD store that if you had that sticker on your CD, if anything happened to your CD, you could just bring it back and they would replace it, which was kind of cool. So let me talk about this. Garth Brooks. He is probably the reason that I got into country music back in the 90s, because I think he, like artists before him, I'm thinking of like Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers. It was a gateway into country. Garth Brooks sort of presented country, in more of a commercial way. And I know his concerts were almost like going to see a rock band. And I read somewhere that he was a big Kiss fan, and I think he brought a lot of those rock elements into the concert setting, which made his music more exciting. He was definitely a gateway for me into country. And I went from Garth Brooks, and then I just went totally into like traditional country. I became a huge Johnny Cash fan. I love Merle Haggard, George Jones, Conway Twitty. So Garth Brooks definitely led me to that. So let me walk you through this box set. It's got all of his classic albums on it. I actually, I have not pulled this out in a long time. Actually, the box was a little hard to open up, but that's the cover. And this was the back of the box set, listing all the albums and the songs. I just knocked them down. I don't believe there are any bonus tracks on these. Actually, yes, there are. Sorry. I just had to look at that CD real quick. So let's see what we got here. All the CDs are housed in this plastic container, and it comes with a book. There's Garth on the back. And the book has lyrics to all the songs. And there are bonus tracks on here. I'm sorry about that. Like I said, it's been a while since I pulled this box set out. More lyrics. Some cool pictures of Garth. All right. So let me walk you through the CDs. And I'll try to go in order here. So the first CD, and what's cool about this is it actually says on there the limited series. This was his first album, and I remember reading somewhere that he wanted to release a traditional sort of sounding country song as his first single. And he just wanted to show, his audience about what he was about, and that he really was a country artist, and he had a lot of respect for the past, even though he did want to move forward and push the genre a little bit further. And the song was Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old. So that was the first single off this album. And I don't know how it charted. I don't think it was ever really one of his huge songs. I mean, it was a hit for him, but I don't think it was a huge, one of his huge hits. What else is on here? You've got Not Counting You. I've Got a Good Thing Going. If Tomorrow Never Comes, that was a huge hit. Uptown, Downtown, Good Old Boy, I think that was a bonus track on this. Every Time That It Rains, Alabama Clay, as I said, Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old, which was the first single. Cowboy Bill, Nobody Gets Off in This Town, I Know One, and of course, The Dance, which was the huge song off this album. That is such a beautiful song. I still love listening to it. I'm a guitar player and a singer as well, and I still love to play and sing that song. It's just a great song that has not, it doesn't sound dated at all. It's just a great timeless song. And looking at the date here, I believe that this album came out in 1989. And that song is still powerful to this day. All right, after that, Garth was on everybody's radar at that point. And then he came out with No Fences. And this album catapulted him into like superstardom. You've got The Thunder Rolls on here. New Way to Fly. Two of a Kind, Working on a Full House, which is another big song for him. That goes off really well live. I've heard some live versions of that song. Victim of the Game. Friends in Low Places. I mean, that is just classic Garth. This Ain't Tennessee, which I think is a bonus track on this. Wild Horses. Unanswered Prayers, which is another huge song. There's a live version, and I can't remember the name of the album, where he's singing Unanswered Prayers. And Garth gets choked up while he's singing the song, and he like stops singing, but the audience is singing along to the song, and they have the melody, the words, and everything. It's pretty moving when he does that. Same Old Story, Mr. Blue, and Wolves. Wolves is an underrated song. If you have not listened to the song in a while, the last track, Wolves, is a very good song. So this album, as I said, this album really catapulted Garth into like superstardom. I mean, just on the songs, The Thunder Rolls and Friends in Low Places. And if you are a Garth Brooks fan, you know that the song Thunder Rolls, when he does it live, there is that unreleased verse that he does. So if you've never heard the live version of The Thunder Rolls, you got to listen to it, because like I said, it does have an added verse to it. So No Fences, classic. What year was that? 1990. All the way back in 1990. Okay, now we have Rope in the Wind. And all these CDs, they look very similar to the way they were packaged originally. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it doesn't come with a booklet at all. It's just like a cardboard inner sleeve. So no booklet or anything. That's why I've been tempted to pick up the original CDs just to have the booklet and everything too. But that's what the CDs look like. I mean, this is packaged well. I feel like I would have liked to have had maybe the original booklet that came with it. So maybe eventually I'll get it. This was another album that continued Garth Brooks sort of like just heading to superstardom. You've got the song Against the Grain, Rodeo, which was a huge hit, What She's Doing Now, a beautiful song, Burning Bridges, Which One of Them, I think is a bonus track on this, Papa Love Mama, which is a huge live song for him, Shameless, the cover of the Billy Joel song, Cold Shoulder, which is a great country song, We Bury the Hatchet, In Lonesome Dove, and probably the big one on here, The River. And again, as a singer and a guitar player, I still love to sing that song. I put The River, well, I like the dance better than The River, but the dance and The River are very, close for me for like songs like, top Garth Brooks songs. So again, Rope in the Wind was a huge album for him. I'm even looking at the cover here. Garth really helped with the whole fashion of country music too. Around this time, you had a lot of the country singers wearing the black hats, Clint Black, Clay Walker, all those guys were wearing the black hats. I think there there were a lot of jokes around that time about, oh, every new country singer's got to wear the black hat. They had David Ball, all those guys. But Garth Brooks really started that. Actually probably George Strait started that, but Garth Brooks sort of like brought it to the mainstream. And then also the shirts. It was just, he kind of pushed that whole country sound and look, and it influenced a lot of people at that point and even further along the lines. The next album, and this album was called The Chase. And I remember when this album came out, it sort of caused a little bit of a stir because the first track was We Shall Be Free. And the lyrics were, sort of political in nature, and Garth was kind of telling his viewpoints on a lot of different issues that I think a lot of people felt shouldn't be in a country song or shouldn't be presented in a musical way. But, Garth Brooks took a chance, and the song was still big for him. But, probably for as many fans that got into him because of that, maybe some of his past fans sort of were turned off a little bit. Not for me. I love this album. You've got We Shall Be Free. You've got Somewhere Other Than the Night, which is a beautiful song. He's got some great vocals on that song. Mr. Right, one of my top Garth Brooks songs. Every Now and Then. It's that song is beautiful. Walking After Midnight, which was the his rendition of the Patsy Cline song. Dixie Chicken, which is a Little Feat song. Learning to Live Again, which was a nice hit for him. That was a great song too. Great lyrics for that. That Summer, that was a big hit for him as well. Something with a Ring to It. I believe Aaron Tippin wrote that, and that's the bonus track on this album. Night Rider's Lament and Face to Face. So this is another strong album. Like I said, there was a little bit of turmoil with the song We Shall Be Free. This was back from 1992. Maybe if that song came out nowadays, people wouldn't, bat an eye. But back in 92, it caused a little bit of a commotion. Still a great album, though. And then the last album in this box set is In Pieces. Very cool cover. I remember, I was going to say I didn't like this album as much as The Chase. I think it was it sort of took a little bit of time for me to grow on me. Oh, actually, this isn't the last album in the series. There's another one. It was hiding over here. I remember this came out when I was, I think this came out my freshman year of college. And, maybe I was just so interested, or not interested, but so engaged with that college atmosphere and trying to, get into that and do what I had to do in my freshman year of college, that maybe I didn't spend as much time with this album. But I mean, looking at the songs, and they're a little hard to read. It's written as a crossword, so I'm trying to read them here. You've got The Night I Called the Old Man Out, American Honky Tonk Bar Association, that was a big hit for him. Anonymous, which I think is the bonus track on here. The Red Strokes, Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up, that was a huge song for him. Callin' Baton Rouge, another huge song for him. The Cowboy Song, The Night Will Only Know, One Night a Day, Standing Outside the Fire, which was a big song, Kicking and Screaming. So looking at these songs on here, definitely you had some big hits. Standing Outside the Fire was huge. Calling Baton Rouge was huge. Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up was huge. American Honky Tonk Bar Association was not huge, but it was a hit for him. But some of the other songs are a little touch and go, and I think this was really the first album for me where not all the songs called out to me like the other albums. I mean, the other albums I feel like 90% of those albums are awesome. This one, there's some throwaway tracks in here that I feel. Still a good album, but I think this started a little bit of the decline for Garth Brooks. You know, this came out in 93. He was still at the height of his popularity with this album, but like I said, there was a little bit of a letdown for me for this album from The Chase. Okay, and the last album in this series, it's not Garth Brooks' last album, of course, but when this came out, this was the last album in the series. Fresh Horses. This is what the inside looks like. Okay. Let's see what we got on here. The Old Stuff. It's a good song. Cowboys and Angels. The Fever, which was a big hit for him. That'll Win. Rollin'. The Change. The Beaches of Cheyenne, which was a great song. That was a hit for him. To Make You Feel My Love. Of course, the Bob Dylan cover. It's Midnight Cinderella, which I believe is the bonus track. She's Every Woman, which for me, that song makes this album. I love that song. And Ireland. So I'm going to put, you know what, for me, In Pieces, I like better than Fresh Horses. Like I said, In Pieces was where I felt like there were a few songs there that weren't his best. And I think it got a little worse on this album because looking at this right now, I mean, the songs that call out to me, and again, I'm a huge Garth Brooks fan. But on this song, really, for me, to go back into this album, the songs that I would want to listen to, She's Every Woman, To Make You Feel My Love, Beaches of Cheyenne, and That'll Win. The Fever, I'm okay with, but that's 4 songs for me on this album that really I would be interested in listening to again. So I think out of all these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out of these 6 albums, this is probably the weakest for me. So that's the Garth Brooks box set, the limited series. If I was going to rate these albums in order, wow, I'm doing this on the spot. Let's see. I'm just going to put them out here. I'm going to quickly put them into the order that I would feel personally are my favorites. Oh, this is going to be tough, and I'm doing this on the spot here. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. I wasn't going to do this, but I'm doing it anyways. Here we go. Rating the 6 albums in the limited series, starting with my least favorite, Fresh Horses. Number 5 would be In Pieces. Number 4 is the self-titled album. Number 3, Rope in the Wind. Number 2, The Chase. I got to give love to The Chase because I'm telling you, the song Every Now and Then is probably one of Garth Brooks' best songs. There's just some other great songs on this album too. And my number 1, I have to go with No Fences. And again, for this album, we all know Friends in Low Places. We all know The Thunder Rolls. But you've got to listen to the song Wolves. It's a great song. So there you have it. Garth Brooks, the limited series. And, I'd be interested to see what you think. What you think about Garth Brooks. If you even like some of his later albums that he's done. What you think of these past albums. Just thoughts in general. So subscribe, share this video, comment below, let me know what you think. All right, thank you.